and welcome to Spotlight. Madhu Natraj, dancer, choreographer, arts educator and entrepreneur, joins us on the show today. This award-winning artist also heads the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, and she's here to tell us what's unique about its choreography course. Welcome to the show, Madhu.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. What an honor. Namaskar, everybody.
I had a preview of the choreography pieces that your students have been putting together, and I'm really quite impressed. It seems to me that there's a very multidisciplinary approach, and I would call it a deep dive into the arts. Can you tell us how you put this whole thing together?
Yes, Sandhya, you're bang on. You nailed it. It's a very immersive course, and also choreography is a composite art form. The thing is, we try to give all the students not just an awareness, but also application of all the elements that you need to become a choreographer in today's times.
But let's go back to how this whole thing began. I think it began with Guru Maya Rao, and let's talk a little bit about why she thought it was important to create a system of formal training in choreography in India.
So Sandhya, as you know, Ma was the only Indian to have been sent by the government of India way back in the 1960-61 to USSR. So she studied at the Giti School, a very prestigious school of dance, theatre, and music in Moscow. It's bang opposite the Bolshoi, actually. And when she came back, she did her thesis in Russian, came back to India and realized that this course is something that an Indian dancer can really use and enhance their skill, not only as a choreographer, but also as a teacher of dance. So performance, of course, you're not taking that away. So she, along with the great, her aunt, Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, birthed Natya Institute of Choreography, it was called, in Delhi, way back in 1964. And from then on, there were great artists from Shambhu Hegde, from the traditional arts, Sonar Chand, to, of course, Raja Reddy, in present times, Nirupama Rajendra, etc., who studied with her. And it's an immersive course, as you saw for yourself. And it used to be a 3-year course in Delhi. And the idea was, she believed that it's not enough to be a performer, to be a choreographer, So just like in the movies, just because you're a great actor doesn't mean that you'd be a very good director or a cinematographer. In fact, a director has to have all that training of cinematography, of dance, of acting, of everything, every element, art direction, etc. So what she did is, the course is very unique, Sandhya, because it brings together 2 streams. One is, of course, the global discourse on choreography, which will include stage design and lighting, mime and movement, anthropology, movement analysis, and the Indian traditional stream, which is studying the scriptures, treatises, Indian aesthetics, movement vocabularies, to bring this whole course together. Imagine the vision way back in 1964, and every decade the course is revisited, revised, and recalibrated to work with the times it exists in.
What I also found interesting is that it's sector agnostic, right? You could be a dancer who's trained in any format. It could be Kathak, it could be Bharatanatyam, it could be Mohiniyattam, it could be contemporary, but still you can use this course to make your choreography dream come true. So what are the elements that make this happen?
Yes, Sandhya, absolutely. So, what is also very unique about the course is you're not trying to tell the dancer that, you need to study contemporary dance, you have to study Kathak, etc. You need to have had some immersion in a form for at least 10 years. You could be a Manipuri dancer, you could be a flamenco dancer, you could be a folk dancer, you could be a contemporary dancer, Kathak dancer, Bharatanatyam dancer. Use your own movement vocabulary, your own language, and we give you the tools, the devices to empower you, create, to design dance. And like I told you, not just choreograph the movement, but also have a clear idea of how to bring the lighting design aspect, the costuming, music, the production design angle into the choreography. And it's a nuanced form. And as you know, choreography by itself, the word itself has several connotations. It's a much abused term in today's times.
What I also like is the fact that it has a very contemporary aspect to the whole teaching of it. It's not merely, re-scripting the past, the epics, or whatever conventional traditional formats in any form of dance. It seems to me that it's forcing the student who's a very experienced dancer, you said they need to have at least a minimum of 10 years experience. It's forcing them to actually introspect and see how they relate to contemporary issues and how they are able to translate their thoughts into dance movements. I find this aspect very interesting, but I'm sure it's also very challenging. So can you tell me how the course and the mentors help the students through the steps of this course?
The thing is, I mean, there is no one bias. I mean, don't lean towards a contemporary or more towards traditional. I think my idea, this vision was the moment a young dancer walked into the studio, she would say, don't have blinkers on. Keep your mind open to tradition and modern. Right? So the course also resonates that. So you see that when the dancer joins the course, the first piece of choreography they do is something called Abhisar, which is about a courtesan who's an Abhisarika Naika. And it's based on, again, an adaptation of a Jataka story by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, with music by Anil Bishwas, the famous music composer, who was also Ma's artistic soulmate. So she structured it as a 5.5-minute choreography set in spring in Basant, of course, and she encounters Upagupta, a monk, and then, I don't want to give away what happens, but the idea is that it's very traditional. So you use the form. So Manipuri dancer can jump into it. Bharatanatyam dancer will use Haridim. A Yakshagana dancer will do that. That is structured, right? So, and each person has to be different because it's the same music, same storyline, everything. But while mounting that choreography, they also study, because they're also studying art history. That's one of the subjects. So at that time, they're studying the Mathura culture, Sarnath Buddha, Buddhist art history. And then in midterm, they do another production, which is either a historical or a mythological one scene production. So there you learn scripting, adapting a script for the stage. How do you bring the dance element in seamlessly in an organic manner without being one contrived sort of appearance? Then you learn to compose music for dance. So we have fabulous faculty with, Tarakini, Praveen G. Rao coming in. In fact, our academic council also has Mahesh Tatani. We have dance therapists. We have dancers. We have, for art history, Dr. Indu Parthasarathy. In the first part of the course, in fact, Dr. Chudamani had set for us. So it's a wonderfully conceived course. And the third part that you saw is the contemporary production. And we believe that the dancer of today's times shouldn't just be putting up productions which have Radha Krishna, mythology, etc. I have nothing against that. What I'm saying is, mostly when you ask somebody to do a contemporary production, a classical dancer will use a metaphor from Draupadi or somebody and then, kind of place it in the present times. Here we're saying, no, look at a social issue and then what's your take on it? What's the premise? Why does this bother you? Why does this trigger, a reaction in you? So it could be from dowry deaths to women's emancipation to literacy to reservation policies, the sex, human trafficking, marital rape, deforestation, global warming, to the perils of social media. All this, in fact. I think 2 dancers this time have also taken depression, mental health during the pandemic. And, that's something we can all relate to. The idea is that the dancers to question a certain issue. And because if you look at the history of dance, and especially in India, dancers have had to reinvent themselves, evolve and be relevant, working around socio-political scenarios. And of course, geography plays an important part too. So we want our dancers to think of what it is that they can do. And it's amazing because then they go back and then start creating school projects or, we have dancers, 80% are from outside of India who have joined in. And that's the thing, because of the pandemic, that was possible because we went online. And the certification also comes from Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography and the Jane X. So it adds up to credits and stuff like that. So so that's what, so it can be contemporary in form, or you can also use traditional vocabulary, but the content has to be contemporary for the final production. And it's very challenging, for some people who've been doing instructional learning and passing on, transferring choreographies from their guru onwards. And here you have to think of something new. It's probably the hardest part of the course that you saw. And I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Very much so. It leads me to my next question. When they finish this course, they seem to be equipped to become entrepreneurs themselves in the culture space, because now they're not just dancers or dance teachers in the traditional form. They can write, they can design lights, they can give talks on art history, they can do so much more than just dance or choreograph. You enable them to be equipped with so many skills, and you're actually making them into arts entrepreneurs in their own right. How did you come to think of doing something like this, and how has it played out over the years?
So, Sandhya, I'm so glad you brought this whole topic up about what happens after, right? And I was just thinking, you have such a deep understanding of the course. So we want to plant you in our office when inquiries start coming in, applications come in to talk to
Just plant me with filter coffee and I'm there.
Oh, yeah. So, like you said, because this is such a comprehensive training, you're studying art history, you're studying stage design and lighting, you're studying production design. I teach two courses. One is the history of choreography from King Louis XIV to present-day choreographers in the West and India, and what shaped their artistic life and career. You have world history of movement, which is cultural anthropology, looking at the origin of movement. You have Indian aesthetics, treatises, and then guest lectures on storytelling through movement, or the Naika Bhed. So wonderful artists like Dr. Anupama Kailash, our chairperson, Dr. Anita Ratnam, others come in to do workshops. Well, a lot of our dancers, of course, go into choreography, and some are performers. Some go into the areas of lighting, stage design, editing, because they have an eye now. So although the optic has now changed, Sandhya, that's another point that we have to reckon with, that after the pandemic, the optic changed from a live performance to a tablet-sized one, right? And so we had to choreograph differently. So then bringing in this aspect of how to edit for that. So they go into art therapy, they go into, dance therapy, into healing, into management-based creativity programs. Some of them do transformational work, developmental work, education, and dance writing. The possibilities are endless. So we arm with all this, and it's up to you as to which area you want to now go into. In fact, what I love about today's generation, I think, is more open-minded. We're seeing that, Sandhya. They've realized that creativity is an important 21st century skill. If you have immersion in the creative arts, then, sort of prepares you for so many other life skills, right? So you learn to be more fearless, spontaneous, listen to the intuitive body. Of course, the cognitive skills are sharpened. The possibilities are endless, I really believe. There's lots one can do with this course.
You have a new course starting soon, right? When is that, Madhu?
So the new batch will start second week of August. We're in the process of, we've just announced applications for the choreography diploma. But Sandhya, we also have another interesting diploma that was birthed alongside. So we birthed a new diploma program, which is for ranked newcomers, people who want to study Kathak. A lot of people say, when I was a child, I learned dance, and then, I became a homemaker, or, I got in the corporate world, or, I didn't have time, or there are youngsters who want to do this before they join university. This gives you the basic platform of Kathak. And it's also wonderfully very comprehensive course. And that also is a diploma. So you get a diploma and foundation diploma. Then, of course, there's intermediate and senior. Natya also runs wonderful classes for the community, not just proficiency courses, but also for children, for teenagers, for working women, for students. So all that is there, and one can just reach out to us on our website, which is www.natyainstitute.com, and also have a look at the wonderful academic council and the advisory board, and you're part of that, Sandhya. So we have many other wonderful people from the allied arts, the other corporate worlds, because this is an institution that believes in cross-illumination, that dance cannot exist in isolation, and definitely not an institute like this, which is so multifaceted.
Absolutely brilliant work, I would say, Madhu, and your whole team putting it together very well. Congratulations and more power to all of you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Do subscribe to the Raintree Media channel on YouTube. Like, comment and share the videos.